When expressing time in Spanish, there are two questions that we have to consider. Either we're going to ask what time is it, or we want to know at what time something occurs. So in Spanish, if we want to ask what time is it, we have the question ¿Qué hora es? Remember the H is silent. So ¿Qué hora es? If we want to ask at what time an event occurs or that something takes place, we have the question ¿A qué hora? So we have these two questions, ¿Qué hora es? And ¿A qué hora? Depending on the question that we're asking or that we're being asked, it'll determine our response. So if the question is ¿Qué hora es?, we have one of two ways responding. Son las or es la. So the es la has the asterisk and it specifies this between 12:31 and 1:30. But we'll come to that later in this video. If the question is ¿A qué hora?, we reply one of two ways, a las or a la. A la is indicated by the asterisk as well, so we'll follow up with that later on. So in the question ¿A qué hora?, that a is at. Remember the letter A is a. So in this case, ¿A qué hora? Is at what time. So put that a back in your answer, a las. So what we cannot do is mix the response. So if the question is ¿Qué hora es?, we have to reply with either son las or es la. If the question is ¿A qué hora?, it's only one of two ways. It has to either be a las or a la. So we can't blend like ¿Qué hora es?, with a las. We can't blend ¿A qué hora?, with son las. It won't work like that. So also with this is that when the time is 1 o'clock, in order to express that hour, we have to change it to una. So although the number 1 is uno, when we express time, the hour 1 o'clock becomes una. And then if it's AM, PM, and on the dot, we have these expressions. So de la mañana is in the morning. There is not an abbreviation for AM in Spanish, so we have to use de la mañana. It can't be abbreviated. De la tarde is PM, which is specifically refers to in the afternoon and the early evening. So typically in most Spanish-speaking countries, this takes you from 12 noon till around 6, 7 in the afternoon. I'm sorry, in the evening. And then from around 7 until 11:59, that takes us into what we would consider to be the evening. There's not an abbreviation for PM, so the only difference that will tell us the difference between de la tarde and de la noche is the hour itself. So de la tarde is also in the evening or at night. And then we have en punto, if we want to express exactly on the dot or sharp. So we have de la mañana, de la tarde, de la noche, en punto. Okay, so first let's look at this question. ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? Remember, we have the one of two ways. We'll focus first on son las. So either we can say son las or es la. Okay, so ¿qué hora es? It's 4 p.m. Son las 4 de la noche. So can we use de la noche? This is the question. Because it's still early in the evening, so we use de la tarde. Muy bien. Okay, so we say son las 4 de la tarde. So what do we have next? 3 a.m. ¿Qué hora es? It's 3 a.m. Son las 3 de la mañana. So all the numbers 0 through 30 come back into play. It's 5 p.m. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 5 de la tarde. Okay, so let's look at ¿A qué hora? So ¿A qué hora is asking at what time an event occurs. So then we can reply one of two ways, a las or a la. We'll focus on a las. We'll come back to the a la and the es la. ¿A qué hora? So this event occurs at 10 p.m. A las 10 de la noche. At 11 a.m. A las 11 de la mañana. And at 2 p.m. A las 2 de la tarde. Okay, so then what happens if it's after the 30? So this is any minute between 31 and 59. When we want to tell time, and this is considering we only know numbers 0 through 30, we have to go up to the next whole hour and then we need to count back how many minutes are left. So pay attention to whether the question is asking ¿Qué hora es versus ¿A qué hora? So let's look at this chart and we'll fill it in. So we have this time. Each time has a question, ¿Qué hora es or ¿A qué hora? Based on the time, it's going to tell us how to respond. So we want to focus on, we have this time. Is it after the 30? So is it any minute between 31 and 59? And then we're going to actually express the time. So remember, you can only go up to the next whole hour if it's after the 30. If it's not after the 30, don't go up to the next whole hour. It's going to mess up the time. All right, so let's take a look. Oops. Okay, so first we have in number 1, ¿Qué hora es? So what time is it? And it tells us that it's 6:40 a.m. So we need to ask, is it after the 30? Yes. Okay, so then how do we express it? If it's after 30, go up to the next hour, which is 7 o'clock, and then how many minutes are left? 20. Okay, so we want to say it's 7, take away the 20, which is the menos. So we say son las 7 menos 20 de la mañana. So what we want to pay attention to is really, is it after the 30? And this is why. Because our time is 6:40. If we say this, son las 6 menos 20 de la mañana, what time did we just express? So we went up to 6 o'clock and it's 20 minutes before 6. So what we expressed was that it's 5:40 a.m. So remember, you only want to go up to that whole hour when it's after the 30. If you go up to the whole hour and it's not after the 30, you are going to change the time. So we can actually strike through this because this is incorrect. Let's look at number 2. ¿A qué hora? And it has 150. So ¿a qué hora is asking what? At what time? So we need to put that "a" back in our answer. So it's 1:50 p.m. is what we want to say something occurs at 1:50. Is it after the 30? Yes. So how is it expressed? We go up to the whole next hour, which is 2 o'clock. And we want to subtract how many minutes? How many minutes are left between 1:50 and 2 o'clock? 10. Okay. So ¿a qué hora is the question? So we're going to say, because we're only focusing on son las or a las. So a las 2 menos 10 de la tarde. Can we do anything else with this? Can we say this? Son las 2 menos 10 de la tarde. And let's put this one's online. Can we say this? We could, but what do we need to focus on? The question that it's asking. So number 2 is asking ¿a qué hora? So if we want to know at what time something occurs, the only way we can reply back in this case has to be the a las. So son las won't answer the question ¿a qué hora? So what we're going to do is delete this. Let's go to number 3. ¿A qué hora? 3:30 p.m. Is it after the 30? No. If it's exactly 30 or it's half past, it doesn't matter. It's only when it's after the 30 can we go up. So the question is ¿a qué hora? What is the proper response to that in this case? A las 3:30. Or we could say a las 3:30 de la tarde. So the media part we'll come back to. It's on the next slide. Let's look at number 4. 9:57 p.m. And the question that's being asked is ¿qué hora es? Is it after the 30? Definitely. So what do we need to do? we need to go up to the next whole hour. So if it's 9:57, the next whole hour is 10 o'clock. How many minutes are left? 3. The question is ¿qué hora es? The only way we have focused on right now is to reply back with what? Son las. Muy bien. So son las 9 menos, what's 3? 3 de la noche. So, can we say this? What's wrong with it? If you put the hour like 9:57, if we put this hour as 9 o'clock, we didn't go up to the next whole hour because it's after the 30. So when we say son las 9 menos 3 de la noche, really what we're saying is that it's 8:57 p.m. But it's not 8:57. The question indicated 9:57. So how do we go up to the next whole hour? So this is incorrect. The next whole hour is 10. Son las 10 menos 3 de la noche. This is correct because we went up to the next whole hour and then we counted back. Let's look at number 5. ¿Qué hora es? 5:25 p.m. is what we're prompted. Is it after the 30? No. So if it's after the 30, can we go up to the next whole hour? No. So we just express the time. We need a response. So ¿qué hora es gives us what reply back that we're focusing on right now. Son las 5 y we need to know what 25 is. What's that? 25 de la mañana, de la tarde, de la noche. De la tarde. Alright, so let's look at number 6. ¿A qué hora is the question? The time prompted is 2:35 a.m. Is it after the 30? Yes, it is. What do we need to do when it's after the 30? Go up to the next whole hour, which is 3 o'clock. We need to subtract how many minutes are left. So from 2:35 to 3 o'clock, how many minutes are left? 25 minutes are left. So we express this how? Focus on the question. Is it asking ¿qué hora es or a qué hora? It's asking ¿a qué hora? So the way we focused on now is to do what? How do we reply back? With a las 3 menos, so minus, what's 25? 25 de la mañana, de la tarde o de la noche. De la mañana. Okay, so on the previous slide, when it was 30 was the minute, I put y media or y 30. So what does that mean? So to express half hour, which is that 30-minute mark, and the quarter hours, whether it's 15 or 45, we add one of these 3 phrases. So y cuarto is the 15, so that's the quarter after. So y cuarto is how we express that. Pay attention to that versus cuatro, the number 4, which is C-U-A-T-R-O. Where you put the R will change the word, so spelling is very important. Y media is the half hour, so this is the 30. And then we get menos cuarto, minus 15, so this puts us at expressing 45. And another way that this can be expressed is saying quarter till. So it's quarter till whatever. So whatever the hour is, it's the 45-minute mark. So let's look at number 1. ¿Qué hora es? It's 7:15 a.m. So we can express this one of 2 ways. Either we can use son las 7:15 de la mañana and use the 15 as cuarto, the quarter after, or we can use 15. Son las 7:15 de la mañana. We look at number 2. ¿Qué hora es is the question. Reply back in this case because it's 9:45 with son las. Either we can say son las 10:15 de la noche. The menos cuarto lets us know it's after the 30. So we went up to the next whole hour, 10, and we counted back how many minutes are left, 15. So it's 9:45. Or we can use, instead of using cuarto, we can use quince. Son las 10 menos quince de la noche. And in number 3, 2:30 p.m. Son las 2:30 de la tarde. Son las 2:30 de la tarde. The media and 30, when we express time, both will give you 30. So in 4, 5, and 6, we focus on a qué hora is the question. Remember, when the a is in the question, put the a back in your answer. ¿A qué hora es la clase de español? It's at 8:15. Es a las 8:15. Es, remember, is the verb there. In this case, it is. So, a qué hora, remember, in this case, we're replying back with a las. And number 5, art class is at 12:30. A las 12:30 de la tarde. So another way we can reply back is to say, what can we use instead of media? 30. Es a las 12:30 de la tarde. And in number 6, what time is biology? It's at 3:45 p.m. So 45 can be expressed one of two ways. Either way, what do we know about 3:45? It's after the 30, so we go up to the next whole hour, which is 4 o'clock, count back how many minutes are left. La clase de biología es a las 4 menos cuarto de la tarde. Pay attention to cuatro, the number 4, versus cuarto. In this case, we use it as the quarter. Or we can also say, es a las 4 menos 15 de la tarde. Let's look at the next slide. So what happens, we know what we do when it's after the 30. We go up to the next whole hour and we count back how many minutes are left. But what happens when it's specifically between 12:31 and 1:30? So going back to the very first slide, we talked about, we have this question, ¿qué hora es? And ¿a qué hora? And how we reply back. And they had an asterisk in the response column. This is why. When it's specifically between 12:31 and 1:30, we use either es la or a la to express the time. How do we know which one to use? It depends on what the question asks. So if the question is asking, ¿qué hora es? We reply back with es la. If the question is asking, ¿a qué hora? We reply back with a la. Remember, if the a is in the question, put the a back in your answer. So ¿a qué hora is a la? ¿Qué hora es la. Whether it's AM or PM doesn't matter when we express time like this. If it's between 12:31 and 1:30, either we're using es la or a la. Remember, if it's after the 30, you still have to round up to that whole hour and subtract how many minutes are left. Let's look at some examples. All right, so we have the time. We're going to focus on whether it's between 12:31 and 1:30, or is it after the 30, and then how do we express it? Number 1, ¿qué hora es? 6:45 a.m. Is it between 12:31 and 1:30? No. What else do we know about it? Is it after the 30? Yes. So when it's after the 30, go up to the next whole hour, count back how many minutes are left. So what do we know about it? The next whole hour is 7 o'clock. How many minutes are left? 15. The question is ¿qué hora es? It's not between 12:31 and 1:30, so we can't use es la. So we say son las 7 menos cuarto. Remember, we can use quince as well. De la mañana. Let's look at number 2. 12:50 p.m. The question is ¿a qué hora? So is it between 12:31 and 1:30? Yes. Is it after the 30? Yes. So we need to pay attention to two things. It's between 12:31 and 1:30, so we have to use es la or a la. The question is ¿a qué hora? We use a la.